All right, part 2, dose. So we just covered in the first part my opinion on the nonsense of COVID and its origins and who is trying to direct it for their nefarious ways. But fear not, part 2 is the good, the bad, and the beautiful. The good. All right, been listening to a lot of the podcasts with the guests on London Real, Brian Rose, and the messaging could not be better. It could not be more hopeful. The guests are astounding. Guys I've been into for the last couple of years. You've got Greg Braden, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Dr. Bruce Lipton, even the financial dude, Robert Kiyosaki, was on there with great messaging. And it keeps coming back to what I've been trying to talk about, not the light water magnetism side so much. Although, obviously, a big part of this is keeping your immune system up, and we'll get to that. What is this? The mind. The mind is so important. Okay, so we established in part 1 that this is a fear-based pandemic, that the media is the propaganda stage on which these evil people are trying to present to us their version of what's happening. Okay? It's all fear-based. Well, fear can be very debilitating, not to mention addicting, which is why people keep going back to watching this ridiculous news. But on more of a scientific side of it, fear is useful. Imagine you're the caveman and a lion jumps out. Everything focuses on the lion, even if you already had caveman diabetes, right? All energy of your body is being pumped into the parasympathetic, which is focused on that fight or flight. It's you against the lion. You don't care if you got a hangnail or a runny nose or anything of that nature, because this is paramount. Well, what has happened with this fear, and every time you go back to it during the day to watch your news, is it keeps pushing your body back into that fight or flight, and it's focused on the parasympathetic. The bus that almost hit you was gone. The lion that was chasing you 4 fucking weeks ago has disappeared, and yet your body is still focused on that. So now you're not giving your body the energy it needs to work on the rest of the immune system. So you're going to be more run down and more susceptible to an exaggerated flu, and you might get more sick from it. So there is a scientific reason why we need to remove the fear, not to mention that the information is bullshit. It reduces your immune system. Let's get you out of the parasympathetic, back into some form of reality, get you back outside, get some sunshine, get some movement, some clean air. And now you can function as a reasonable adult. Plus you can make better decisions because you're not inundated with the nonsense being shoved down your throat. All right, so we're not going to watch the news. We're going to improve our immune system, give it a chance to act and rest appropriately, because we're not going to be constantly shifting the focus to the lion that's chasing me. The COVID's not chasing you. It's what's behind you, the people misconstruing everything. That's what you need to worry about, the larger agenda. All right, so we're going to stay focused on the good, the silver lining. Hopefully in your time off, as many of you have had, you have allowed yourself to not become the victim, to not see this as something that is happening to you, but merely something that is happening that you are witnessing. This has been a time and an opportunity, and I hope in the future going forward, if you have continued time off, that you will use it as a moment to expand, not contract. Read that book you wanted, write that book you wanted to, learn that instrument, learn that language, push yourself. Everyone always said, if I only had the time. Well, you've had the time. Are you making use of it? I hope you have. You owe it to yourself and your fellow man to take advantage of this unique opportunity. Other silver linings that we are seeing, which is benefiting our business at the farm, is a return to folks taking a good hard look at the food supply chain, where everything's coming from. A turn back towards local and invariably, I hope, seasonal as that's important with the consumption of eating what's in season. So we're starting to see increased demand for people getting back to the traditional way of purchasing and interacting with their community, their growers, their farms. This is great. Hopefully there's a carryover effect longer than just a simple half-life, the short attention span we usually see with people. Hopefully there is a fundamental shift in this reawakening. And despite everything I said in part one, the doom and the gloom, because this is, as far as I can understand it, the single biggest event, not just of my lifetime, but of many years before it. And we'll see how it plays out, if it will be more significant than the world wars. This is an opportunity for a shift in consciousness. And luckily, we don't need a majority of people to wake up. I don't even need a large minority. I believe somewhere between 1% and 3% of the people would be sufficient for this reawakening of consciousness to propel them to make a shift that will affect everyone in the world. What am I talking about? Well, I believe those that are behind this, the bad guys, have been, we're sitting at a poker table with them, and they've been betting cautiously. They've been eating away at our stack, at our humanity, our level of chips. But in this hand, for whatever reason, they have decided to go all in. And they are waiting to see if we're going to call their bluff. And quite frankly, I don't think they have a good hand. I think they're holding nothing. Shit. But we do need a group of us to recognize not only the significance of the situation, but the power of the potential in this moment to take advantage, to awaken, to allow our consciousness to shift and claim what is readily ours, our natural laws, our inherent freedoms as individuals, and claw it back from those that are trying to take it from us. All you have to do is say, no, I won't be a part of it. It's that easy. We're not necessarily talking about voting at the ballot box. We're talking about voting with your actions on a daily basis and not giving in to the absolute dissolution of your human rights and civil liberties. So, here we have this giant shift in consciousness waiting at our doorstep. I think a lot of good is going to come out of this. But you need to recognize the power that you hold, what is owed to you from wherever you think you come, and that no other person has the right to take that from you. Look inward, and there it is. It's really that easy. We've been given this opportunity, this little pause, even if I think the quarantine was not only unnecessary but criminal. I'm very excited. Whoop, camera's gonna go weird. Actually, that's kind of cool. Very excited by the potential in this opportunity if enough people recognize what is happening and how we can turn it to our advantage, okay? Whether it's a changing in our buying habits or a wake up to how we interact with our neighbors because we're with them all the time, or how we interact with our family because we're suddenly surrounded by them a lot more than we used to be before the quarantine. So much potential to recognize improvements. And we need to call their bluff and say enough is enough. Well, that's the basis of part 2. The silver lining in the chance to reflect. yourself some little meditation practice. Just go sit out on your porch or in your bed. Close your eyes. Focus on your breath and pick a word. Love, peace, happiness, serenity, calm. Whatever word you'd like to feel in that moment. And breathe. And breathe as if you're breathing into your heart. Send energy there. Send the thought there. Send the breath there. Obviously, you're breathing into your stomach and then into your lungs, deep, full breath. But hold on to that word. And that is the energy, that is the vibration that your cells will start to dance to. Because your thoughts are going to affect your feelings, and your feelings are going to affect your actions, and your actions are going to affect the people around you. And it's as simple as diving into your thoughts, planting into the subconscious the things you want to feel and do. And then it's as easy as feeling them and doing them. But you've got to wake up to what is really happening. Give yourself that opportunity. All right. Part 1, the bad. Part 2, the good. Part 3 will be the beautiful.